And we'll get to all of that in just a moment. But first tonight, we want to talk about the November election. Hard to believe we're just about 2 months away. And tonight there are concerns about a nationwide shortage of poll workers. Well, that could clog up lines and lead to long waits. So tonight we've been wondering what's going on here in central Indiana. For tonight's big story, we look at the secret to stopping a shortage here in Marion County. We're also going to catch you up on all the information you need tonight to cast your vote in time. And we're also going to share a tool to make sure you're registered before heading to the polls.
I just realized how important the effort that goes on in those polling stations are.
That's why 67-year-old Jackie Diaz became a poll inspector in Marion County when she retired 4 years ago.
I thought, this is the opportunity for me to give back to my community in that aspect by being part of the voting process.
Diaz is sitting this election out, though, just like she did this year's primary. The reason? COVID-19.
The number one is the pandemic. My age being one of the reasons that the pandemic has been hitting the senior set quite a bit.
Poll workers with similar concerns stayed home during the June primary. Fewer poll workers meant fewer voting locations and thus longer lines for voters. That's why the Marion County Clerk's office says they began recruiting for poll workers after the June primary, hoping to avoid the same situation in November. They were hoping for 2,000 poll workers. Right now, they've got 2,300.
So I voted since, I was 18, but I've never actually committed to taking off work and actually working the polls.
But that's just what Zanae Brooks and her husband Daryl plan to do this year after experiencing the long lines in June. According to the clerk's office, this year they have more poll workers like Brooks than ever in the 31 to 40 age range.
I just feel like this is so important for us to engage in.
Jackie Diaz will certainly miss being a part of it. She's glad to see other folks stepping up to the plate, so there's not a void.
It's really encouraging to see so many young people get involved in that side of it.
So here's what you need to know tonight if you do plan on voting here in Marion County in the fall. Early voting will start October 6th at the City County building. Then on October 24th, early voting expands to 6 other locations. Now, when Election Day comes, the county is opening up 188 polling locations. But if you're voting absentee, those ballots start hitting mailboxes even earlier, September 19th. You have to return those no later than noon on Election Day. Now, the deadline to register for the November election is Monday, October 5th. And there's a website you can visit right now to check if you're registered and to start the process if you haven't already. Just go to indianavoters.in.gov. And tomorrow officially marks 2 months until the election. So I want you to see the important dates coming up. The first presidential debate later this month, September 29th. The next week, Vice President Mike Pence and Senator Kamala Harris will debate on October 7th. The final 2 presidential debates, October 15th and the 22nd, all leading up to the big day, the election on November 3rd. And that wraps up our big story tonight. Make sure to check out our website and the WTHR app. We've got all of Marion County's early voting locations, the times, and the link to check your registration.